Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. So in this video we will discuss about the human digestive system. Okay, so as you can see the diagram here, we have various things. When we actually ingest the food, then a lot of things are there that are going to act some functionalities on the food. Okay, so as you can see in the diagram, this is mouth, this is the salivary glands that are present below your tongue, and then we have the esophagus, which is also known as the food pipe. We have liver, the gallbladder, the stomach, pancreas, and small intestine, which has various parts like duodenum, jejunum, and ileum. Okay, and here we have sphincter muscle, and these are the large intestine parts as colon, rectum, and anus. So I will be telling you everything in detail, that when you ingest a food, then what are the various things that actually acts on the food during the digestion process. Okay, so as you can see, the first thing is ingestion. So ingestion is actually taking the food physically and swallowing it. Okay, so the food is ingested through the mouth, and then the digestion process starts. Once you just swallow the food in your mouth, then the digestion process starts. So the first thing is the physical digestion. Physical digestion starts in your mouth only when you chew the food or you grind the food. So that is also a kind of digestion, which is a partial digestion and known as the physical digestion. Okay, and when you actually chew the food, then the salivary gland secretes the saliva, and a lot of functionalities are there that are actually that are actually associated with this saliva. The saliva has functionalities like, the first thing is the maltose sugar. Actually, saliva contains an enzyme which is known as the salivary amylase, and it is responsible for converting the food particles into the maltose sugar. So you can actually feel it whenever you eat something and you sleep immediately for an hour, then you will feel a sweet taste in your mouth. So that is the because of presence of this maltose sugar. Okay, and the second function of saliva is to moisturize your food so that you can swallow the food easily. Okay, then the tongue will mix the food with the saliva and your food will go into the esophagus. So esophagus is nothing but the food pipe. So when your food reaches into the esophagus, then there no any digestion will take place. There only the contraction and expansion movement will take place via the wall of the esophagus onto the food, which will help the food to go into the stomach. As you can see here, when your food will reach here into the esophagus, then the walls of these esophagus, they will done a contraction and the expansion movement. Okay, and which will help to reach your food to the stomach, and that contraction and expansion movement is known as the peristaltic movement. This contraction and expansion movement, it is known as the peristaltic movement. Okay, and then finally your food reaches to your stomach. Now I will tell you that what are the various things that happen when your food is in stomach. Okay, yeah, so now when your food reach to your stomach, so stomach is a J-shaped organ which is present in the left side of abdomen. As you can see, this is your stomach, and food is here for 3 hours. So basically, when we talk about a digestion process on the food until the stomach phase, then it takes exactly 3 hours. So this is the reason that it is said that in every 3 hours you should eat something. So this is because so that you will never be empty stomach. Okay, and the third thing is that gastric juice is released by 3 tubular glands. So when your food is in your stomach, then a gastric juice will be released, and that gastric juice will contain 3 things, which will be HCl, enzyme pensin, and mucus. Okay, so this hydrochloric acid has various functionalities, like first thing is it makes the gastric juice acidic. So the juice that is released here by the 3 tubular glands, so the first gland is secreting the HCl and it is making the gastric juice acidic. The reason is that the enzyme pensin, it actually works in the acidic medium only. So in order to activate the enzyme pensin, HCl provides it the acidic environment. Okay, and the second thing is that it kills the bacteria whichever is coming along with the food. Okay, So the second thing is enzyme pensin. Enzyme pensin, what it does, it digests the protein to form the peptones. So it will digest the protein and it will form the small molecules that are known as the peptones. And then the mucus. So mucus actually saves the wall of the stomach from its own release of the hydrochloric acid. Okay. One more thing about this gastric juice is that it also releases the gastric lipase. Okay, gastric lipase is also there, which is responsible for the breakdown of the fats. And after this, the sphincter muscle control the release to the small intestine. So from the stomach, your food will reach to the small intestine. As you can see, this is the small intestine. Your food will reach here, and the release of the food from the stomach to the small intestine will be controlled by the sphincter muscle. Okay, so as you can see here, I have mentioned sphincter muscle. So the functionality of sphincter muscle is to release the control of food from stomach to small intestine. So now let's see that what will happen with the food when it is there at the small intestine. Okay, yeah, so now when your food reaches to the small intestine, okay, so firstly let's see that what is the small intestine. It is arranged in the form of coil. As you can see here, this part, this alimentary canal is the small intestine, and if you Google this image, you will see a bunch of coils inside this large intestine. A bunch of coils will be there, which is the small intestine, and it has three parts: duodenum, jejunum and ileum. And of the whole alimentary canal, this ileum is the largest part. Okay, so the small intestine, it receives the secretion from two glands. The first is liver and other is pancreas. So firstly let me tell you about the functionality of liver. So liver is responsible for secreting the bile juice, which is stored in the gallbladder. As you can see here, I have mentioned the gallbladder. So here the bile juice is stored. So a lot of functionalities are associated with bile. The first thing is it neutralizes the acid. So whatever the hydrochloric acid is coming from the stomach, it will neutralize that particular acid. And second thing is it breaks down the fat into the small globules, and it provides the alkaline environment. So basically whatever juice the pancreas will release, that will work only in the alkaline medium. So that alkaline medium is provided to that pancreas only with the bile juice. Okay, so let's see this pancreas. It increases the pancreatic juice. As you can see, secretes the pancreatic juice, which has three type of enzymes. The first is the pancreatic amylase, then it is enzyme trypsin, and then it is enzyme lipase. Okay, so the pancreatic amylase is responsible for breaking down the starch. Enzyme trypsin breaks down the protein into the small molecules, and enzyme lipase is responsible for breaking down the fats. Okay, so these are the two type of secretions that the small intestine receives from the liver and the pancreas. Also the wall of the small intestine, it releases a juice which is known as the succus entericus, and this succus entericus also contains a large number of the enzymes, and the functionalities are associated are, it is responsible for the digestion of the carbohydrates into the glucose, protein into the amino acids, and fat into the fatty acids. So till here you can see that until the small intestine, the large insoluble molecules have been converted into the small soluble molecules. Okay, and now the further process will take place, which will be the absorption, assimilation and excretion. So let us discuss one by one in detail, and let us see that what will happen after this process. Okay. Yeah, so after the it passes through the small intestine and all kind of secretion it goes through, then after that the absorption process will take place, which actually take place only in the small intestine. So basically the small intestine has a millions of finger like projections that are known as villi. So inner surface area of the small intestine has millions of villi. So villi are nothing but the finger like projections. Okay, so what does villi do? Villi are responsible for providing the larger surface area to the small intestine, and the absorption process, the absorption rate get more faster due to the presence of large surface area which is provided by the villi. Okay, and now this absorbed digested food goes into the blood. So whatever the absorbed digested food is there, it will goes into our blood. Okay, and one more interesting thing about the small intestine is that, you know, the herbivorous animals, they actually need a large small intestine than the humans, because, you know, they actually eat a lot of grass and plants, and a large amount of cellulose is present in that. So in order to digest that, they actually require a large size of the small intestine. Okay, so this is also a practical fact here. Okay, so after the absorption, assimilation is there. So assimilation is nothing but whatever your blood has absorbed, it will take that particular absorbed food to all the body parts. Okay, and there the body parts will use that particular energy, which will be helpful for the muscle repair, and a lot of energy will release by the process of oxidation when you respire. Okay, and whatever is the undigested food, that will be stored in the form of the fat into your liver. Okay, so assimilation is nothing but whatever the food has been absorbed, it has been reached to all the body parts and they are using its energy. Okay, and after that, as I have mentioned here, energy release, so I have already told you about that. And the last stage is the egestion. Okay, so from the small intestine, villi will absorb all the nutrients, and with the help of the water, they will absorb everything what is useful in the food. So whatever is the unused food or the undigested part of the food, that will be go into the large intestine. From this small intestine, it will go here in this large intestine, and in this large intestine, as you can see, it will pass through the colon, and in the colon we are also having the ascending and descending one, but that will be a detailed part which is not actually required here. And then the rectum and anus will work. So rectum will store that particular undigested food part for some time, and then after some time it will pass that undigested part through the anus. Okay, so this was the whole process from when you actually eat something and what happens with it. Okay, so I hope that you have got everything, and if you are facing any problem in any of these things, or if anything is not clear to you, you can comment me down below. And if you like this video, then please must share it, and please subscribe to my channel. Okay, and I will be making more videos on such biological concepts. Okay, thank you.